At 99 years old, Mel Brooks is finally saying everything he once kept quiet, and his newest confession has hit Hollywood like thunder because he has revealed the 5 actors he could never stand working with. No filters, no polite smiles. Only a lifetime of memories and old frustrations rising to the surface. And the first name on his list is Jerry Lewis. Behind closed doors, Brooks described Lewis with a strange mix of admiration and exhaustion. A genius who could be brilliant and unbearable at the same time. A man who shaped modern slapstick but also drained every room he walked into. Brooks respected the talent, but not the temperament. The breaking point came in the mid-1980s when the studio suggested Lewis for a supporting role in the early phases of Life Stinks, saying his name would lift the project. Brooks rejected it immediately and told his producer that he did not need someone who thought he was funnier than the film itself. Brooks already knew Lewis's habits, rewriting scenes without warning, arguing with directors about every tiny moment, and overpowering everyone around him. Brooks worked in controlled chaos, but he never surrendered the steering wheel. Their only meeting happened at a neutral dinner. Brooks arrived ready to listen, but Lewis showed up late and delivered a non-stop speech about his own vision of comedy, while barely noticing Brooks. By the end of the night, Brooks understood it clearly. They would never work together. He never reconsidered it, and although they stayed civil in public Hollywood, insiders knew there was no affection between them. Brooks once said that someone who thinks they are the center of the universe cannot survive in his world because he already has one son. Then comes the most painful name of all: Gene Wilder. Out of every actor Brooks ever worked with, Wilder was the one who felt like a creative soulmate. Together, they rewrote the rules of comedy with Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein, films that shook the industry and became instant classics. Wilder brought softness, heart, and timing that matched Brooks's wild energy perfectly. But after Young Frankenstein, something shifted. Wilder had written The Adventure of Sherlock Holmes' smarter brother and hoped Brooks would produce it and guide him. Brooks declined not because he doubted Wilder, but because he felt Wilder was not ready to direct. Wilder took that as rejection, and the bond that once felt unbreakable began to crack. He made the film on his own, but the old magic was missing. The two men drifted apart quietly, without insults or arguments, just silence where laughter used to live. When they met years later, they exchanged warm but gentle words. The warmth returned, but the partnership did not. Brooks never reopened the creative door because the trust that once felt sacred was no longer whole. Chevy Chase was another name that appeared again and again in studio meetings through the 1980s because executives wanted a big star. In Brooks's films, on paper Chase fit perfectly. He was sharp, dry, and already a household name. But Brooks refused every time because Chase broke the one rule Brooks valued more than any other. He did not play as part of a team. Brooks kept hearing the same stories from friends and colleagues. Chase was incredibly funny, but also could freeze a room with a single smug comment and always acted like the smartest person there. Brooks believed comedy worked only when actors supported each other and moved like an ensemble. Chase did not blend into a group, he eclipsed it. The closest he came to a Brooks role was Spaceballs when the studio suggested him for Dark Helmet. Brooks rejected the idea within minutes and chose Rick Moranis because Moranis knew when to step forward and when to step back. Chase did not. Brooks later described him as a man who collided with comedy instead of flowing with it, someone who used irony to guard himself instead of believing in the moment. They met only once, and the meeting was stiff with no spark. Brooks joked that maybe they could work together in another universe, but not this one. Harvey Korman was a different case. He came from the Carol Burnett show, where improvisation ruled everything, and he thrived in that world. But Brooks directed films like a composer, shaping every pause and every inflection. Improvisation could break the rhythm. It's their biggest clash happened on High Anxiety. Brooks cast Korman in a key role, but Korman wanted to reinvent the character from scratch with new quirks and improvisations. Brooks shut it down and told him the funny parts were already written. Tension grew little by little. Korman questioned blocking, timing, and jokes, while Brooks began cutting conversations short. Crew members later described the atmosphere as a quiet war. There were no fights, but every exchange felt heavy. Despite the tension, Korman delivered a perfect performance, and audiences never sensed anything was wrong. But the price was too high for Brooks. After that film, Korman disappeared from his casting lists. There was no bitterness, only an understanding that their working styles no longer matched. And then came Frank Langella. During the early stages of Dracula, Dead and Loving It, Langella seemed like the obvious choice because he had already played Dracula with elegance and intensity. But that was exactly why he did not fit. Brooks wanted speed, chaos, and a vampire who could shift from charming to ridiculous in a heartbeat. Langella brought a heavy, serious energy, and rehearsals turned slow and uncomfortable. He delivered every line with dramatic weight, while Brooks needed wildness and surprise. The moment that ended the experiment came during a test read when Langella asked if Brooks wanted him to mock the text. Brooks replied softly that he wanted him to survive it. Soon after that, Langella left the project and Leslie Nielsen stepped in, bringing the perfect mix of seriousness and silliness, and the film finally clicked back into rhythm. Tell us what you think about the names Mel Brooks avoided working with, and which one surprised you the most. Leave your thoughts in the comments. And make sure you like this video, share it, and subscribe to Hollywood Bulletin and press the bell icon so you never miss our new uploads.